Okay, let's get started. I'm really excited about today's class because it's another one of those just gather around, maybe sit down. I'm going to share my screen, educational ones. And partly I want to say you're welcome, and partly I want to say I'm sorry because I know everyone's here for yoga. But knowing what's happening in the body is really important. So today, for supplies, what we might need, a yoga strap might be helpful, a chair. And then I will share my screen in just a moment, and today we're talking about shoulder impingement. So I've said it before, the human body is super amazing, like really good design. You know, it's resilient, it compensates for things if we need to get stuff done. Couple small flaws. One is shoulder impingement is really common, and I'll show you what that is. Symptoms are you can't do like all the way up, palms together, that kind of a thing, or crossing over. That will cause pain in shoulder impingement. And so I want to explain why that's happening and how we fix it. So just a little bit of anatomy background. The shoulder blade is this sort of triangle shaped bone here. And the shoulder blade is fantastic. It does things like it protects the ribs, protects the lungs, nice, solid, strong bone. And then we've got some stuff in this space here. Hopefully you can see my cursor. In here, see how there's lots of space here between these two like hooks or claws? So enter where I think there might be some sort of design flaw. So all is good if everything looks like this and everything's healthy and happy. If we have really good posture and we're sitting up nice and tall, the shoulder blades sit nicely on our back, and those claws don't do anything. They're like inert. They just stay there and everything's fine. But when we start to do our life where we're like hunched over, you know, we're scrolling, we're texting, we're typing, we're driving, all those things, we tend to shorten up these muscles here and everything just sort of slides forward. And then what happens is this area here. So I'm not really talking about arthritis here, so just ignore that. But this, see how the claw part, so this is facing forward, this one here, this one is facing back. So this little claw here, or hook, the coracoid process, I just call it a hook of destruction when things aren't going well. It pinches in on two things in this space here. So one is the supraspinatus tendon, and it attaches to the supraspinatus muscle. Which is all well and good, except for when that claw comes in. There's also a bursa, and bursas, we have them throughout the body. They're like a squishy shock absorber throughout the body to prevent this claw from damaging the tendon. It's like a separator between this sort of claw and the tendon, but the tendon gets affected anyways when we have poor posture. So if you have symptoms of your shoulder really hurts and you think you might have shoulder impingement, the first thing to do always is to go see your primary care person, right? Your doctor, your physical therapist, physiotherapist, that kind of thing for a diagnosis. And then they'll probably get you to do this very awkward looking exercise, which we will do today. So this one, I just call them Ys. That's how it was introduced to me. So you're in like a YMCA, kind of a dancing scenario, but just on the Y. And you're lying prone, which means face down, in a super uncomfortable position. So nose is to your mat, or in this case, on the table. And then what you're trying to do is pull your belly in. We'll do this later together. So that it's almost like your belly comes off of the floor, off of the mat, and your arms are in a Y position, thumbs pointing up. And then in our Y position, we just kind of lift the arms up and up and up and up repeatedly. And it's really super uncomfortable. The second exercise that helps us are T's. So virtually the same thing, but instead of up like this, they're out to the sides, palms facing down, and we're lying prone. And then, so this is the floor, and then we lift the arms this way, up and up and up. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be full range of motion. Okay? So this is what happened to me once. So I got I got shoulder impingement, and the technical name is subacromial impingement syndrome, otherwise known as shoulder impingement. And so I went into physiotherapy and was given a bunch of exercises, but the ones I remember the most are the T's and the Y's. And I did those religiously for, I think it was like 3 to 6 weeks. I forget exactly, but it felt like forever, but it did work and everything was fine. And then several months later, I stopped doing my exercises, and then the same thing happened to the other shoulder. But I was like, I got this, I know what I'm doing, and I did resolve it too. So now what I do is, instead of stopping them, I just have this rotation. So it's good to have a yoga plan for like life, right? And alternate different things. And this one I like to throw in the mix every once in a while to these exercises that we'll do today. Okay, so if you have shoulder impingement, of course, see your primary care person, and probably you'll do something like T's and Y's and whatever those exercises are exclusively. Today, what we'll do is prevention. So prevention is better. It's better to not ever have this in the first place. And then for that, we do 2 things. One is increase range of motion. So stretching, lots of stretching. And then 2 is strengthening. When it's acute, like when it first comes on, it's a sharp pain. So any kind of stretching for me wasn't a go. It wouldn't work because I couldn't really move anything. So we'll do some really good stretching so we have improved range of motion, and then we'll strengthen everything. So having said that, probably the best strengthening exercise is just to sit up tall as often as you can, because that you sort of squeeze the shoulder blades together and shoulders are down, and that does strengthen the back body. Okay, so we'll head over to our mats, or I'll go head over to my mat. And again, if you have a yoga strap, that might be helpful for one of the exercises we're doing today, and a chair. I wanted to show you guys something that's kind of fun on a chair. So let's head over there, and we'll begin with T's and Y's. So what we do is we find a super uncomfortable position here, lying prone. I'm gonna see if I can do this without having to move my chair out of the way, because that's annoying. And so we lie all the way down, so nose to the mat. And then before even setting the arms up, we want to, like when we're lying prone, I can feel my back feels a little bit arched. So I actually want to try to tuck the tail under. And then we'll start with T's. So shoulders are down, and we're trying to flatten out this part of the spine here. Pull the belly in, nose down, arms out to the sides, but double check, because often what happens is we're like, yeah, my arms are out to the sides, but you want to make sure they are actually directly, like be really meticulous here, directly out from the sides, from the shoulders. And then squeezing the shoulder blades together, shoulders down, so you can actually feel the palms sliding towards you. When you squeeze the shoulder blades together, it kind of shortens the arms a little bit. And then in your uncomfortable position, belly scoops in, tucking the tail under, nose down. We lift the arms up as high as they'll go, but it's not like you're trying to get them higher and higher winds. It's just go to your full range of motion. And then we just keep going up and up and up and up. So once you've taken a peek at my little demo here, then hop in and join me. So nose to the floor, belly scoops in, double check those arms are right beside you, straight out to the sides in a T position, and keep going. So this one should feel slightly awkward. Most of us are not very strong in this position. So unless you're very strong and you do a lot of back-specific strengthening muscles, this will feel challenging. Eventually, one could use little tiny weights, but I find, honestly, just the weight of my arms is lots, and that's all I ever use. Keep going. Taking rest if you need to. Almost done. And relax. Okay, so you can come up to Sphinx pose just to relax a little bit of a counter stretch, so propping up onto the forearms. So that was your T's. And The next one is whys. So I want to just fill this time and space with some words to give your back just a quick rest here. We'll take maybe 30 seconds rest. So hopefully that you can feel that sort of warmth in the shoulders and in the back. And as far as how long to do this, I don't know, anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I could not do it first. I would sort of work up to that. But mostly I just sort of do that exercise until I feel a small fire in my back and shoulders, and then I relax, give myself a few moments, or even better, follow along with a video or someone else. So then we head into whys. So, okay, so for why, don't worry too much about the angle, but like as if you're about to sing YMCA, right? And then I actually use my mat because I'm, I don't know, meticulous in that way, and it just helps me. So my corner edges of my mat are where I align my arms. So this one feels much more awkward than the last one, even if you can imagine. It's extra important to keep the shoulders down in this one. So here we go, nose to the floor, scoop the belly in, so tucking the tail under, and then remember, shoulder down, down, down. And then thumbs pointing up to the sky, we lift the arms up. Now they probably won't be able to go up very much. And then we lift up and up and up and up. And sometimes you might even drop them all the way down to the floor and up because we just don't have that range of motion, but we will work on that. And keep going. So double check, shoulders are down, belly is scooped in, thumbs are pointing up, and keep going. Trying to keep the arms straight. I can feel mine bending. Try to keep them straight, shoulders down. It just makes it that much more challenging and awkward, which is good. Almost done. And relax. So one of the reasons we're doing this today is because it's been a while since I've thrown it into my rotation, and it's time for sure. I've sort of noticed myself hunching a little bit, and I want to nip that in the bud right away because shoulder impingement takes, weeks to heal. So let's not let that happen. Okay, I'm going to try to escape from underneath my chair without appearing too clumsy, but gracefulness is not what I'm known for. So good luck with that. Okay, so for now, let's work on a bit of stretching. And we'll start with our top arm Gomukhasana cow face pose. So how we do that is just sort of get rid of your legs. So sit however you like to sit, cross-legged or in Virasana, or I'm in Thunderbolt, just where you can feel like your arms have the most range of motion. And then, do we need the strap for this one? I don't think so. So for this one, I'm very fussy about how my hair is. I like a super high top knot, and you'll see why in a moment. So if you have a ponytail, it'll be fine. But I didn't say this class was gonna be pretty. So the right arm goes up and then heading back down. So we've got the right arm up, and I just want to point out here how you can see my range of motion. It's not good, just from like natural. So naturally, two things. One, you can see like it's forward of my head. So actually maybe this is a better angle. Eventually we want that to be 180 degrees from the shoulder, but watch as I lift my elbow up, my back arches, and that's a cheat because I don't quite have that 180 before I've stretched, pre-stretched. And the other thing is when I try to have my arm straight up, it doesn't, it points out to the side. But after we stretch, it's kind of amazing how much mobility happens with just one stretch. So if you're still there, maybe give your arm a little shake out. So we take the left hand and gently guide that elbow back. So gentle, gentle, gentle. And I'm trying to get my fingertips down my back between my shoulder blades. So I actually have clasped onto This might be weird, but I'll show you. I've clasped onto my actual like shirt or whatever this is back here to help guide it, or just like skin. I know it's weird, but what happens if you don't have a hold of something is the hand might go out to the side. So we're trying to bring the hand between the shoulder blades and then eventually guiding the elbow behind the head. And then if you find yourself there, then you start to lift the chin. Few deep breaths. And then slowly release. And I can feel just even that has increased range of motion quite a bit. So now if I just head back, isn't that weird? Like it just naturally now goes, it's just more open. So even just a little bit of stretching goes a long way. Other side. So left arm goes up and then, you know, and I'm not making this up. I am actually, because it's a lot of tightness in here. So guiding the elbow, gentle, gentle. And then trying to get the fingertips down the back. I've got a hold of something strappy back there. So I'm trying to think, how can you use a yoga strap? You need a third arm. So this is why I just sort of use my shirt to hold on to, or whatever you can find. Just pressure fingertips against that space between the shoulder blades tends to work as well. And then once we're there for a few moments, maybe you found your elbow behind your head. If so, starting to lift the chin if it's available, okay? Few deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly release. I feel so much better already. Okay, and then for the chair, actually I should probably have that in front of me to show you. This is honestly, it's my new favorite exercise. So I'm gonna use a blanket on my chair because my arms are wimpy a little bit. And we'll place our elbows on the chair. And so if your chair isn't super squishy, it might kind of dig into your arms a little bit. So I like a little bit of padding here. And then what we do is place the hands sort of together. We don't want them to cross over, so keep them from crossing over. And then we guide them between the shoulder blades and then lowering the heart downward. So you can just take a peek at this first for a bit, and then eventually you can start to walk the knees back, back, back. So the further back the knees are, the more weight goes into this stretch. So easy does it. And then once you have the hang of what we're doing, or you found a chair, or you could do this against a wall, I think actually, but I think a chair works better. A couch would be great because it already has cushion. I use my office chair sometimes as well. It's got a bit of cushion on it. And then we hold. The difference between what we just did and this one is it kind of gets deeper into the, into the back and the side body, more than just the triceps. Couple deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly come on out. We did this one the other day in class using a broom handle. And what we do with that broom handle is, it's actually a little bit of a better variation than we just did. So this is the variation we do without a broom handle or some sort of stick. But when we do this one, we're like this, right? So the arms are just slightly externally rotated. This would be parallel, or sorry, internally rotated. This would be parallel, this would be externally rotated. If you hold on to a stick and you bend your elbows and you have them completely parallel, then the stick will prevent you from internally rotating. And it's just a bit of a different stretch, and it's actually kind of better, but I just wanted to show this thing if you don't have a stick. So also it's good as well. Okay, so then the next one is, oh, it's a good one. So it's the bottom arm for Gomukhasana, and I wanted to show you how to do this one with a strap. So in Gomukhasana, it's this pose, right, where we try to find the fingers behind us. But I like to focus on one arm at a time because we can really gain a lot of range of motion with this. If you have a strap, first of all, if you don't, it's fine. We'll figure it out. But if you do have a strap, it's nice to have one of those ones that have a loop. And if not, you can just fold your strap in half so it is a loop. And then I'll start with my, which one? I'll start with my left arm behind. I'll show you my good arm. And so I like to hook my hand in the strap. And I'll show you back here. So I hook my hand in the strap, and then I lift the strap up over my right shoulder first, but you can see that causes an angle. So if I hook it over my left shoulder, now I'm trying to keep it this way. I'm trying to guide my hand to between the shoulder blades. So this hand is trying to go up. Another way, if you have the mobility, if not, this little modification won't work. But if you can, find the elbow and draw it inward. And then you just sort of scooch the hand up, and it wiggles. Again, you don't have to be graceful. So I found my hand between my shoulder blades, but it won't stay there. So then I take this strap, really carefully though. You don't want to force this one. And then I'm in, okay? Another thing you can do is sort of lean up against a wall. So I'll show you this way. See how my elbow is sticking out? My left elbow is sticking out that way. If you sort of lean against a wall, it can go inward. Most importantly here, what we're trying to do is draw the shoulder back. Well, both shoulders. Draw them back, back, back. And the elbow too. And you should be able to feel a fairly good stretch in the shoulder. And if not, scooch that arm a little bit higher and try again. Drawing the elbow and the shoulder back, back, back. We hold for a few moments. And then oftentimes once we're there for a little while, it'll loosen up, things will loosen up. And then another way you can increase the stretch is to lean forward carefully, because it should increase a fair amount. Carefully, carefully. Remember to breathe. I can feel it in my elbow as well. And it's really great to feel it in the elbow because, oh, I could do a whole nother video on why it's good to mobilize the elbows. Maybe I will. Because reasons. All joints being mobile is good. Not overly, of course, but to their full range of motion. And then we slowly, slowly release. I release this particular exercise slower than any other. So I've just released my strap. My arm is still halfway in because my shoulder likes to move extra slow. Perhaps shoulder impingement affects people who are tighter in the shoulders. I'm not sure what the statistics are on that, but it is fairly common. Other side. So now we know what we're doing. Clasping under your strap if you have it. Maybe even using the other hand to draw the elbow in. Scooching that hand up between the shoulder blades. And then once you're in, elbow and shoulder back, back, back. I do both shoulders. It's just easier to think of everything back, holding. Remember to breathe. So we want to get our muscles oxygen while we're stretching. Big deep breaths. Also, every inhale, you can feel the increase on the stretch a little bit, so be cautious. And then if you want to increase that stretch, leaning forward. Holy smokes. Find your edge, don't push past it. Carla. And then slowly, slowly, come on out. I gotta say, that one afterwards feels amazing. Taking your time. Okay. I forgot to mention you might need a doorway. If you don't have a doorway, I don't have a doorway. But a wall works. So I'll show you against a wall. And I'm sure everyone has heard or seen of this stretch, but it's when you have your arm in a box shape and then you hold onto the doorway and then you open up here. So we talked a little bit before about how the reason why shoulder impingement happens is because of a tightening in the front body and then a lack of strength in the back body to keep this open. And so one of the ways to mobilize and to encourage good posture is to be sure we have a good range of motion in the front body, good stretching in the front body. So making our way towards a wall. Oh dear. Okay, so I'll show my left arm. I think the camera can see me because I don't have a doorway, so I have a wall. So I've got my hand up against the wall. And then what I'm going to do is just walk towards the wall. But first I want to make sure that my elbow is straight out from the shoulder, not too low, not too high. And then I'm going to try to bring the inseam of my arm towards the wall until I feel resistance. And then we hold. So of course you can do this in a doorway if you've got one handy. Let's hold a little bit longer. I can definitely feel that. I'm gonna like hug the wall for moral support. Few deep breaths. And then slowly, slowly come on out. Okay, shaking it out. And then other side. So I'll face away from you, but I'm still here. And then arm to the wall, the forearm to the wall. Double check that the elbow is level with the shoulder. And then reaching the shoulder towards the wall, the inseam of the arm, and hold. Last 2 deep breaths here for 1. And 2. And slowly, slowly, slowly come on out. All right, and we can come back to our mats. So the next stretch, oh yes, it's kind of like a reverse plank. I wonder if my chair will be in the way. Probably. So what we do is bring the arms behind us, fingers pointing away, and then walk the fingers as far away as they'll go, and then hold. And then to increase the stretch, I do a little lift and scooch of the hips. And then a little more. So really be cautious with this one. Really, really cautious. And then slowly come on out. Slow, slow, slow. Okay, so we don't hold that one very long because I don't want to. But it's one thing that helps to get that range of motion, heading back. Okay, next stretch is my favorite, I believe. So what we do is, this one's lying down, and I like to have a blanket. Let's see here. So we lie down, face down, and then it's basically like this stretch, but you're lying on your arm. So palm faces up when you're lying down, and we're trying to actually get the whole chest on the whole arm. So, awkward? Yes. Does it feel amazing? Also yes. So, you know, some stretches just don't feel good. This one actually does. So let's have the palm facing up, right arm beneath you, and we want it square as well. So eventually the shoulder will reach the arm, and I've got my timer. And at first, like, I'm far away from lying all the way down, but it doesn't take long. We don't have to push or anything. Just slowly, slowly sink and melt. Being cautious, you kind of have to use your back body strength to hold you up so you don't go too far. And then as the body gives you more space, you can sink and melt a little lower. So by now this should feel just a little more comfortable. And of course, if you need to come out before our timer is up, that is totally okay. Just the last few moments here. And then slowly, slowly, slowly come on out. Nice and slow, and then we'll switch sides. So left arm beneath you, palms facing up, or palm facing up. And we'll get our timer going. So same thing, and just melting into it. Maybe even closing your eyes, taking a little rest. Last few seconds here. And then slowly, oi, come on up. Take your time, take your time. All right. And then we'll make our way to seated. So those are my 6 different arm/shoulder stretches that hopefully will make you feel much more open. And we did our T's and Y's, those were strengthening, but I have a couple more strength exercises. The first one is called box arms. And so we just bring our arms out to the sides in a box shape, like this. And then all we do is we kind of lift them up and squeeze the shoulder blades together and then drop the elbows down a little bit. And then release back to center. So center being completely flat. And then again, lifting up, squeezing back and down. And then again, so it's almost like you're doing a little arc with the elbows up and back and forward while keeping the shoulders down. So back, and just keep going at your own pace, just nice and little, very small movements. And the shoulders are down the whole time. So we don't want to be strengthening in this sort of area. We want to be strengthening with the shoulders down and then squeezing the shoulder blades together. And keep going. This is one of those ones that feels like nothing until it does. So keep going. And again, one could use weights, I suppose. I find just the weight of my arms is lots. And I can start to feel my shoulders warming up now. And really focusing on this squeeze and squeeze, squeeze. So I feel the shoulders, but I also feel my back. Keep going. If you need to take little breaks, feel free. It's better to take a break than to continue with the shoulders creeping up or the alignment going a little bit off. So shoulders down. Trying to prevent the back from really arching each time, but safety-wise, there's nothing wrong if the back arches. We're just trying to keep the movement isolated to the back body. And that's enough. Relax. So just long enough to feel a nice warmth in the back body. Taking a second. We only have 2 more strength exercises, so we're almost done. The first one, I just call it flying. So the arms are up into a T position, palms facing down. Again, shoulders are down. And if possible, even have the arms just slightly behind the straight line of like 180 degrees is right straight out from the shoulders, and then just a little bit wider. And then the arms go up and down, but shoulders down is the priority. Again, trying not to arch the back, but rather squeeze the shoulder blades together. So it's all about the shoulder blades. Squeezing them together. And if you're like, I still feel it from the last exercise, then you're not alone. I do too. Remember to breathe. And one of the things I do as well, like especially now that I'm reminded, oh yeah, right, I need to throw this into the mix for me personally. One thing that I will do is I will do this whole routine probably once in a while, but I also do them sort of a la carte, like these T's or these flying that we're doing right now, or the T's that we did previously. I'll just do them for 2 minutes between, I don't know, whatever I'm doing. I do personal training with yoga. So between sessions, if I have a couple minutes between sessions, I'll just pop into this for 2 minutes. And then after the next one, I'll do something else. So you can totally do these just in the pockets of your own world, right? 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at lunch, 2 minutes in the evening, and you've done 3 full exercises that day. So, and relax. Okay, last one, but we'll take a second And if you're like, I just want to hunch forward, that's okay, because we've been doing good posture for a very long time here. So taking a second, let the shoulders relax. Okay, last one. Here we go. So this is one of my favorites. When I feel cold, I do this one. Bring the palms together. And of course, our theme of today is good posture. So shoulders are down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And we rub the hands together briskly. And again, it feels like nothing until it does. Especially when we do one after the other, you might feel the previous exercise. Actually, this one's not too bad. So keep going. If you want to increase the intensity, go faster. But shoulders down, really pressing down on those shoulders, especially since it's the last one of the day. This is a Kundalini yoga exercise specifically for raising Kundalini, which Kundalini just means energy. So giving ourselves more energy. You can even feel that, right? The friction on your palms, you can feel that energy we're creating. Breathing deep, shoulders down, almost done. Last exercise, lifting up tall, big deep breaths through the nose, shoulders back and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking a moment. And then from here, let's place the hands onto the knees. And then shoulders down, relaxing. Maybe you want to do a couple little side-to-side motions with the head, maybe a couple of neck rolls, just some organic movements. Whatever your body kind of wants to do after that. Nothing too big, just organic. A little shifting. And then sitting up nice and tall. Big inhale through the nose, and exhale, closing the eyes. Just taking a moment here to feel the energy we've created. There's a lot of energy that we've just created with all of our strength exercises. We've created a lot of mobility with our stretching exercises. So just allowing your body a few moments to adjust to your new range of motion and your newfound strength and your new posture. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a really good rest of your day, and I will see you next time.